Hey, what's up guys? I want to do a real quick video here. This is the olight i3T, olight i5T, and the olight M1T Raider. All three of these lights are in their limited edition desert. I believe it's a desert tan color that I was able to buy when they had their offerings, as they do occasionally, quite a few times a year. They'll have their sales and they'll offer various lights that are like a new release or a special edition, and a lot of times they'll offer a free light or two or something when you spend a minimum amount. And that's what I pretty much I got my hands on these guys. I'm pretty sure all three of these were a free tier or a freebie from their sales from last year, and they just so happen to be all in the same color, you know, the desert tan. Pretty cool. Or I guess you could say it's like a earth brown. I believe that they're a titanium nitrate. I don't think it's an anodized aluminum. But anyways, let's get into it right here. We have a very small light, the i3T. It's a AAA battery light. And I want to compare these lights, these three lights, because these lights are not the traditional higher tech olights where they're magnetic charging and they have a, you know, a lighted button that tells you if the battery's full. And no, they take a traditional battery, typically, you know, a AAA for the i3T, a AA for the i5T. This actually takes, the M1T actually takes two CR123As, which they're a disposable battery. They're getting much more popular and common now. You'll see them in grocery stores. Kind of expensive, but if you do buy them online, they're usually not as bad as if you were to buy them individually at a grocery store, you know. But they are available, those batteries. I did actually read up, and this is not advertised by Olight, but I did read somewhere that this would also accept 16650. I don't advertise doing this, but it's something that I might want to try myself. And the reason why is because this light is solely designed for two CR123As, and a lot of common lights nowadays, they will take two CR123As along with the 18650. And actually, if you were to compare an 18650, it is slightly, just ever so slightly wider in diameter than two CR123As. And since this light is solely designed to take the two CR123As, it does not accept the 18650. It won't even slide in there. And that's why I believe, you know, a 16650 will work. And that's a pretty rare battery to find, but they do make them and you can get your hands on one. So I'm interested in trying that myself. I don't advertise that. Olight doesn't advertise it. I don't know how it will affect the battery life, or, you know, how bright the LED is and the function, things like that. I have seen some videos of people putting like a 14500 instead of your AA and like an i5T. You know, this is your i5T. Takes one single AA battery. I actually have a this is a rechargeable AA. It's not a 14500. It's NIMH, I believe is what you call it. And it does work in there. I don't advertise using it, and Olight doesn't advertise using that, but it does work for me. It does seem like it's a little bit brighter. The function of your i3T and your i5T are the same. Whenever it's off, when you hit the button, whether it's momentary or a full click, the first one will always be the low setting. If you want to go to your higher mode, you can either momentary cycle, where it will go low and high. There we go. And you do have to do it in a proper amount of time. If you're too slow, it will just keep going back to low. You know what I mean? That's too slow right there. You got to go low, high, and it will go to your high. And that was momentary I was doing. And when you're holding the momentary, when it goes to high, you can press and click all the way and it will lock in on that mode. Same with your i3T, low, high. And that has I believe it's a little bit more of a fresh battery. This is also an NIMH. It's a AAA, obviously, since it's the i3T. But yeah, this is a AAA NIMH rechargeable battery. And like I said, with this light, I don't recommend using those. Olight doesn't recommend using them. I'm not sure if it will affect the longevity function, if this would blow up in my hand. I'm not sure, but you know, they only advertise it to use with your traditional AAA and your traditional AA for the i3T and the i5T respectively. Now I want to get onto this guy here on the right, the M1T Raider. This is actually a discontinued light. However, I was able to get this pretty recently, as a free tier from one of their sales from Olight, and I do believe last time they had a sale, maybe the time before, they actually offered this as an option to just buy outright. Obviously it was on sale during that sale, but yeah, that was kind of interesting. I already had mine, I didn't buy another one, but I really like this light, and I'll get in that in a minute here. Even though it's discontinued, I feel like maybe they have a lot of these. I don't feel like they're making any more of them, but I feel like maybe they had a lot of stock, and that's why they keep offering it in their sales as a tier, or just like I mentioned the last time, or maybe the time before that, they actually offered it as outright. You can just buy it, and I believe it was around 45 bucks or something like that on their sale price, with the MSRP going around 60 or so, 65 I think, something like that. And this light is very, very similar to the way it looks. The beam is similar to like a S2R Baton 2, and even if you look at the top, I don't have my S2 right now with me, but if you were to compare these side by side, the lens is the same. It's very, very similar where it's recessed in, and they both look very same as far as the beam and throw goes. What's different is the diameter, because this does not take an 18650. It's much, much slimmer, and I really like that. I feel like when you're having a light in your pocket and you're using it or just carrying it on your person, the slimmer the light, the less noticeable it is. I mean, it could be this is a fairly long light. It is slightly longer than like an S2R Baton 2, and even though it's slightly longer, because it's thinner, it's not as noticeable, and the weight was very similar too, just barely under, a few grams under what a S2R Baton 2 is, but it feels much different because it's thinner, a little bit longer, very slightly lighter. But yeah, the function is obviously different. It doesn't have any of the magnetic charging. It's a traditional light. Now, whereas these two lights are low to high, and that's all you get, low to high, low to high. For the i3T and the i5T, the M1T Raider Plus is what this is. It will be on high in the first setting, and that's 800 lumens right there. If they're fresh batteries. If they're not fresh batteries, it'll be a little bit less than that, and you'll notice as you use this, it does seem like it drains the battery fairly quick when you're using the high mode. And there's actually three modes on this light. It'll go high, low, strobe. And you do the same thing like these. You'll do like a momentary press to do low, high, or I'm sorry, you'll do the momentary press to do high, low. You do gotta be pretty quick with it. And if you do that for the third time in successive presses, it will go to the strobe. I don't want to do that strobe now on the video. There's no need for it. But I do actually really like how this will always go to that high mode when it's off for more than a couple seconds, because you can actually, there's another difference between, the only way to cycle is momentary pressing. So, and you gotta do it quick. It'll go to high, low, and I think that's why this probably didn't sell very well. It's kind of more like an EDC light, but it's always going on high on that first momentary press, and you always have to go to that to cycle through to low. So maybe that's why this was not as popular, but I feel like it does have its place. These two guys, the i3T and the i5T, I feel like are much better of an EDC light, and they're more of a light where you can just hand to somebody and they will be able to use it even if they don't understand what mode they're on, you know. They might just click it and use it and not even realize they're on a high or low setting, but nonetheless, it's very simple, and most people will be able to figure it out pretty quickly. But whereas this guy, if you hand it to somebody, first of all, it's always going to go to that brightest setting first, and it will just blast whatever you're, you know, if you're working on a car or something, that's just kind of too bright when it's up close. I do feel like it does have this place. This light could be a very good, you know, defensive light, maybe a backup defensive light. Backup because it's so small, it can be in a space that is small. I don't know, it's pretty light. It will always be on that high setting when you use it, and I honestly prefer, I'd rather be on high or the turbo mode than strobe when using like a defensive light, just because for me that's my preference. I don't recommend that. I don't know why. I just feel like I'd be more comfortable using high rather than strobe, but nonetheless, you gotta do it quickly to go to low. So go high, low, you can press that. Now you won't, if you click and press again, it won't go to that low, it will still be on the high or the turbo, you know. And I think that's the main difference with these guys, other than the reverse order. The i5T, which I have in my hand right now, if you click it on, it'll go to low, and you click it again fast, it'll go to high. Same with the i3T. If you were to click it and go to low and click it again really fast, it'll go to high. And I'm not sure why I didn't do that the first time. Maybe if it was too fast, I don't know. But yeah, it will go low, it'll go to high. Low, high. i3T. And then the i5T will do the same, obviously. Low, high. And you don't even have to click it fast. But yeah, if you click this guy, you can't cycle through when you click. You can only cycle through momentary on the M1T Raider. So it's a little bit more tricky to use as an EDC because it will just be pretty much too bright for most of your applications on that first setting. And you can't just click to cycle. You have to do momentary. So you got to go high, low. But yeah, I do feel like that light does have its place. It's fairly inexpensive, you know, especially if it's like during their sale when they were offering it that last time or the time before, when you could buy it outright for like 40-45 bucks. I feel like that's a pretty good price, and I would have bought one if I didn't have this one already. And yeah, I feel like it's a nice light. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks.